What is going on, everyone? This is episode 7 of Littleroot Lessons. As always, I'm your host, Carter Noble, joined by our fantastic co-host, Carl Wilkin. Carl, what's going on today, man?
Well, today we're going to talk a little bit more about our Team of the Week segments because we don't really have a whole lot of competitions going on right now. The April IC was this past weekend, but the results aren't up for that one yet. So we're going to take a little bit more of a deep dive into some of our listeners' teams that they've given us, and probably going to touch on how I made Masterball tier on stream the other day. And I think we've got a couple other things we want to talk about. I can't quite remember.
Masterball, Team of the Week, and...
the
Draft League. We can talk about how I had a really good game 1, and then games 2 and 3, Okay, well, let's just jump into...
We'll get into it later.
Let's just jump into it right now. Let's just talk.
Okay, you want to do it now? Okay.
So, the last several weeks, I've talked about how amazing and awesome I love Sylveon and et cetera, right?
Uh-huh.
I have gouged over this thing for weeks. And so I have it in Draft League, and I'm just like, Carl's going to anticipate me bringing Sylveon. He's going to have an answer to it. He's going to have an answer for me doing weakness policy shenanigans. I don't want to bring Sylveon. I'm like, looking at your roster, you have a couple really good answers to it. The big one being like Aegislash. Because Sylveon does not line up against Aegislash really at all. So I'm just like, I really just want to avoid it. But if I do, it leaves me particularly weak to exactly Goodra. Like, that's my one big weakness if I don't bring Sylveon. I'm just like, I think that's fine. I'm like, I know Goodra is Carl's pet, but like, surely I'll be able to just like brute strength it or figure a way around it, and it'll be okay.
And what did we learn?
Sylveon will mess you up, man. I mean, Goodra will just beat you up if you do not have an answer for it. So,
oh yeah,
Kyle was in the room with me as we were playing, and he's just like, "Well, what in games? I think it was game 2. You don't Dynamax turn 1." Mm-hmm. I'm just like, well, Alolan Ninetales has Ice Shard. I know how this is going to work. I need to be able to answer this Goodra immediately. And then you go for the Dynamax into Ice Shard on turn 2. I'm just like, I don't have an answer to this. I am really dead.
Yep, Goodra is the MVP of my team, like, for sure.
And, like, I believe it was game 2, we came down to Serena versus Jellicent. I was burnt.
Yep.
And I played it out.
Burnt and -4.
I played it out on the back of me hitting a crit on Power Whip. So if I would have critted, I would have won.
Instead, you got 2 accuracy drops.
Yeah, you dropped my accuracy
4 attack drops.
And my Power Whips were doing about 15% probably. And then you're just like, nah, strength sap. I'm just like, oh, okay.
Just heal. Give me all the health
back.
The
first time you hit it, I'm just like, Carl's like, Kyle's just like, oh, you can't win now. Just like,
I even said that. I was like, I wonder if Carter realizes he can't actually win unless he like magically gets a crit.
And that was why I was playing it out. I'm just like, there is a slim chance I can win if I crit. So, looking back, I think I probably should have brought Inteleon this week instead of Shuckle. I know you had been talking about playing longer games with what you're liking in this format. Is like you like to play a longer, more grindier game. I'm just like, if we're going to do that, Shuckle seems great, so I can just Toxic Stall you and just like grind out an advantage that way. Like, Shuckle has huge defense, so just like, I'm going to sit here and just take hits all day. I'm going to recover thanks to leftovers. Like, it's just going to sit here and annoy you to no end. That is its job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I didn't bring it in any of the 3 games we played. And Kyle's like, hey, game 3, you really don't have an answer to this gelatin. You should probably bring Shuckle for that. I'm just like, I don't know, man. I'm like, if we're getting to that point, like, he's hitting me for super effective on Muddy Water, and I'm trying to toxic stall him while also being burnt because of Will-O-Wisp. Like, that seems real loose. So, I ended up just bringing, I think all 4 games I brought a combination of Kingler, Butterfree, Excadrill, and Serena. I think game 3 I dropped Butterfree for
Pangoro.
Yep, you are correct, for Pangoro. I mean, I feel like game 3 was really one-sided, and it just never I never got to do what I needed to do. Just because, like, I think it clicked after how well it worked game 2 that Goodra would be able to beat me up if I wasn't able to very quickly deal with Goodra, I was going to lose the game. And that's why, like, you went for the Dynamax on turn 1. I'm just like, I can't beat this. I don't know how I beat this. And I died, so...
Game 2, I was fully expecting you to just max Rockfall into the Ninetales to just let Sand take it off from Focus Sash.
I debated it.
Did you?
I debated it.
I was 100% expecting that, and the minute you max flared, I was like, oh, okay, so I just win. I just win now, right?
It was after I hit max flare. I'm just like, oh, because you hadn't brought Ninetales for game 1. And so I'm like, all right, you know, we'll just... I don't want to deal with your weather. My weather's kind of whatever. So it's just like, I'm just going to max flare, set up sun. Everyone's going to ignore weather and everything's going to be fine. And then it goes down to Focus Sash. And I'm just like, oh, I knew that. I'm a dummy. And then I died.
Yep, and then you died. The Goodra Ninetales duo has been super good when people just don't have a good answer for Goodra. It's better in Draft League for sure than it is on Ladder because everyone's running around with Dragapult and Togekiss. But when everyone's limited on what you can play, finding those combos is really important.
I agree, man. It was definitely a good time. So,
video's out on YouTube right now if anybody wants to go watch it. Link will be in the description.
# shameless plug. # go like and subscribe.
Hey, I gotta push this thing. I'm undefeated. I'm the undefeated league champion. Let's go.
For now.
No, this league's over. We get to start an actual league.
Yeah, that's I'm not sure when signups are ending today, correct? Is that what you put out?
Yep, signups are end today at like probably this afternoon.
Sometime this evening.
I want to say yeah, it's hard because time zones are weird and I don't really know what to say like time wise, but I want as many people to be able to get in as possible. I think most of the Discord is already signed up, but if you want to join and you're not in the Discord, you'll have to join the Discord and tag me, let me know. Or tag Carter. I'll see it. Yeah. I'm going to be home all day.
Carl is really good about being on Discord. And because of my new job, most days I don't check Discord until I get home. And then I'm scrolling through, like three different Discords through multiple pages. So there is a chance I will miss something. But if you get on there and tag Carl, I guarantee he will see it.
Yep.
And we'll make it work one way or another. But signups need to happen
end of the day today.
Basically as soon as this episode is over, which will be the 20th, probably the night of the 20th. So
yep, because my plan after this episode goes live is to go around and start getting emails so I can start adding people to the draft sheet and start getting everything set up to where nobody can mess with their draft Pokemon and only they can play with theirs and do all that nonsense.
Yep. So we will figure it out. It's going to be a good time. I'm assuming you're going to moderate all that and be in charge of everything and dictate who does what when.
Yeah, I gotta go figure out if I want how many people, like, once we get an actual tally on how many people we have. I think we're close to 12. I was, like, looking at doing 2 flights of 6 and, like, having, like, conferences.
Yeah.
And doing some weird stuff like that.
Doing, like, top 2 from each conference into top 4.
Yeah. Or do, like, buys for the top finishers in each flight, and then the second and third play each other, and then they play their first place in their respective conference, and then the result there is they play each other. Trying to figure out how to like coordinate and stream that and get that all like recorded is going to be a nightmare. Pokemon needs to get us an actual like spectator mode.
Hey, as a man who has complained about big companies and their lack of software support for the last several years, Carl. Not throwing out any companies in particular from a previous podcast that we used to run.
Cough, cough. Watsy, cough, cough.
I didn't say it.
I will. I'll call him out on
it. But, release ready software, right?
Oh, of course.
So, Draft League. Draft is going to be sometime between now and who knows when.
Sometime between the 21st and the 28th, I got to get with a bunch of people and try to figure out what works for them. Probably going to be just a text-based thing. Some of them don't want to be in group calls. But what I might do is those that want to be in voice call can voice call. And then those that don't want to be in voice call can just like type in a channel. And I just moderate that channel and just watch it.
Yeah. Well,
when it comes to their
turn. We will make it work.
Yep, I'll figure something out.
I would like to figure something out. Probably definitely have like a Discord role for like the champion. But I'm not gonna do that till the next one, just so.
Yeah.
Just so you don't get the.
This was literally just to test everything out to see if we can make it work, and we got everything working for the most part.
Yeah, it went fairly smoothly for the most part.
For having only 5 players.
We made it work though. So.
Yeah.
Let's see. Moving right along today. I'm assuming you want to just jump into a couple team of the week.
Sounds like a plan, bud. Let's go.
So, like Carl kind of mentioned at the top of the show, we don't really have any major events or anything to cover this week. So, instead, what we're doing is we're going to the Discord and we're going to talk about, it looks like 2 or 3 teams of the week. So,
yeah.
Jumping right into it, we have a Trick Room team from Back in Bean. We have Eviolite Dusclops, Mental Herb Confagrigus, Focus Ash Butterfree, Ayapa Berry, Incineroar, Assault Vest, Vikavolt, and Weakness Policy Rhyperior. Pretty standard Trick Room team with Dusclops Rhyperior as like our core. And then we have Incineroar to be able to do Incineroar things as well. The interesting pieces here, we have Butterfree, which is just going to Sleep Powder spam people, as well as occasionally get to Rage Powder and like redirect. Like that's your ideal lead is like Dusclops, Butterfree, Rage Powder to set up Trick Room, and then being able to switch into an Abuser and go from there. So,
yeah.
You also have Confagrigus as another Trick Room setter. Also gets access to Will-O-Wisp. Can hit pretty hard with Body Press and has access to Shadow Ball here. So, really just trying to stall out the game, get to do its thing, disrupt you as much as possible. So,
pretty straightforward.
But the big piece of tech here is we have a specially offensive Vikavolt. And I didn't actually realize how slow this thing was until it was talking about in Trick Room.
Yep. I believe base speed is
real bad.
54, 45. It's 5 and a 4. I can't remember what it is. It's real slow, though.
It is 43.
43. There it is. It's just like it's in the 40s or 50s. It's not quite Torkoal slow or Dusclops slow, but it is slow.
The big thing here is like it gets access to Levitate, so it avoids that ground weakness. Which we have Rhyperior here as one of our other abusers. I'm surprised to see high horsepower over Earthquake, but like our only real advantage to Earthquake, like we have Butterfree, so we could have that switch in as well. We have Vikavolt with like Levitate, but like we don't have Protect on Dusclops or Configrigus or Incineroar. So like if you have one of those three out, you just can't click Earthquake. So
yeah,
even having that spread damage isn't really important. So
I'm going over the items right now. I'm surprised this Vikavolt is holding Assault Vest instead of like say a Life Orb, just to output maximum damage.
I guess it just wants to be a little bulkier to be able to take a couple more hits to be able to output some more damage. Especially being they have max HP, max special attack, being modest, and then 4 points into special defense. So I could see switching to the Life Orb and just like producing as much damage.
Just making sure you get just get Okos. Make sure you just Oko everything.
I think if you're gonna do that, I could see splitting. Instead of doing max HP, you could like split that in between the defenses and put like have some combination of like HP, defense, and special defense, just to be a little bulkier when you need to be.
Mm-hmm. Like his special defense is already fairly low to begin with. It's just like a stat wise. It's not a very bulky bond to begin with.
I didn't realize how insane its special attack was.
Yeah, it is supposed to be a special sweeper.
Man,
like,
okay.
You just put everything into HP and put everything into special attack and just go.
Yeah, I have actually not looked into this really much at all. I know earlier in the week I tagged on Discord saying, hey, we need team submissions, who's got stuff for us? And this is the first one posted. And I'm just like, man, that seems really cool. But I hadn't really looked into it much past that. But like, we have 90 defense, 75 special defense, 77 in HP, and 145 in attack. That is massive.
It's like it's the special version of Durant.
Mm-hmm. But instead we get Levitate here instead of Hustle, which, you know, is whatever. Like, it removes an immunity. Like, it gives us an immunity instead of a weakness, so I will gladly take it.
Yep. But yeah, swapping Assault Vest for Life Orb there is probably just like a quality of life change. It doesn't really change everything too terribly much, but it also just opens up Assault Vest to be put on someone else. Like this Incineroar that's like Fake Out Flare Blitz Snarl. Just has the Parting Shot. You could probably just change Parting Shot to U-turn.
Yeah. And just
and
go
put
big.
the Assault Vest on there and just be bulky. Like he's already invested in special defense anyway, so what you do there is you just drop the berry, put the vest on him, and then you can invest more into attack and into your actual defense and make sure you can survive ground type attacks.
Mm-hmm. I can get down with that.
The only other thing I have weird is Bug Buzz on Butterfree. We already have Pollen Puff, and I think Pollen Puff and Bug Buzz are same power.
That I don't know.
They're pretty close. If they're not the same, they are really close. Because Bug Buzz is 90. I think Pollen Puff is 80.
Bug Buzz is 90.
Pollen Puff. Why does nothing learn Pollen Puff?
Just Butterfree, I think. Oh, Butterfree and Rabombi, it looks like.
Power is 90. So, I guess if like you get tormented, you always have a damaging attack.
That seems kind of loose.
Like,
I think if you
swap it for a flying type attack almost.
Yeah, if you want a second attack, just looking real quick, let me pull up Butterfree. But
Hurricane.
Is Hurricane the best we got?
I know it's probably the strongest flying type move we get.
Yeah, but it also has base 30 accuracy or something.
But 100% in rain.
Last time I checked, we're not setting rain. It's base 70 accuracy. That's not the worst.
Yeah, just don't try to do it in sun.
See, we get Energy Ball, we get Shadow Ball. We have Air Slash. Oh wait, we're Compound Ice. Hurricane.
Ta-da!
You smart. There's a reason we keep.
I've played with Butterfree before. I know how this works.
There's a reason I keep inviting you back on this show. Ignoring the fact that you set everything up and you do everything and I'm just here.
I pretty much just run the show at this point.
You're not inaccurate.
But yeah, other than the Bug Buzz, I would definitely look into like swapping that Bug Buzz for a flying type move of some sort. Hurricane's great. Mm-hmm. If you're really worried about making sure you're hitting things, you could play Air Slash, which is fine. If you wanted to be really cheeky and be able to flip the other way, you could just do Tailwind Trick Room Team and drop this Cofagrigus for something else.
And
be real tricky
that way. I was gonna say Durant, but I don't think you want another fire weakness between Butterfree and Vikavolt already.
I was thinking Dragapult.
I mean, I guess. Why do you have to be smart about things, Carl? Yeah, that if you want to drop the Cofagrigus for Dragapult, then you can have Tailwind in that last slot and just go fast. When you need to go fast, you can. And
exactly,
Vikavolt's probably not the worst once you have Tailwind up too. It's you could do Butterfree.
You could put Tailwind up, and he's probably max. If you could do 31 IVs, I believe its max is 48.
That's not
something
the worst. Let me just pull it up real quick.
And then you double it.
So if we are, let me set this level 50. That's important. If we are 31 IVs, we are 63 speed.
Okay, and then double that puts us at
126. That's not a bad spot.
No, that's actually not terrible at all. So yeah, just make sure you have max IVs was that beneficial or neutral nature?
Yeah, we're neutral.
Okay, so yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, the current build has our stats at 216 in special attack, which that's massive.
Yeah, that's huge.
184 HP, 110 defense, 96 special defense. Man, that is real low.
Yep. You are not a bulky Pokemon.
Yeah, I could see dropping these HP EVs and putting in towards defense and special defense instead.
Yep, could easily do that.
And then just being not max speed, but 31 IVs and just calling it a day.
Yeah. What team you want to talk about next?
Let's see. This one, I have a rain team here submitted today by Tofu. I know.
Okay.
I believe we've talked about Tofu's teams a couple different times here on the cast.
Yeah, he was one of our first ones with the Gengar Bisharp
okay, yep.
team.
So Tofu's been on the cast. Oh, he's had his teams featured a couple different times on the cast at this point. So here we have the Rancor of Ludicolo Pelipper. But we got an interesting one here. We got Weakness Policy Ludicolo. And then we have Damp Rock on Pelipper. Just so our rain is going to last a little longer. To round out the team, we have Focus Sash Lucario, Life Orb, Dragapult, Safety Goggles Raichu, and Babiri Berry Mimikyu.
Neat.
Let's break this down some. What are we doing?
So we have Lucario Dragapult lead, which is actually very hard to deal with because they're both very, very, very hard hitters and both very, very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Lucario having the Focus Sash here means it will survive a hit and then most likely get to attack next and just take out whatever is in front of it.
Especially being max speed and having priority with Bullet Punch. Like we're going to hit something extremely hard. I'd be interested in seeing just how much damage this Meteor Mash does to Togekiss.
The answer is a lot.
I'm assuming like 3 billion%.
Oh, yeah. Then the Dragapult is paired with it because it is also just as fast and hits just as hard. But we get to do cool shenanigans with Phantom Force and Fly. We can U-turn back if Dragapult's not going to do anything against them. Say they're both like fairies and normals. It's like you're not really going to do a whole lot there. So if you want to U-turn out and set up into Pelipper or set up into Mimikyu to where it has a little bit of a better matchup, you can do that. Dragon Claw's a weird one. I normally see Dragon Darts on physical Dragapults because the fact that it avoids fairies if it's out there. It focuses on whatever you target on most of the time. So surprised to see Dragon Claw over Dragon Darts.
Well,
outside of that, that's what that lead is right there, is those two Pokemon together.
Tofu also said he just picked the wrong move. He did mention that it is higher damage if you Dynamax. I don't know how relevant that is. I don't know how often you're clicking Max Wormwind, but it...
I mean, against Conkeldurr, it's pretty decent.
But, I mean, would you rather Max Airstream?
You can, but that's not going to always guarantee a KO.
True.
Conkeldurr is actually really bulky.
It's real bulky. So, just minor things to be aware of is, you get stab on Dragon Claw just like you do Dragon Darts, but Dragon Claw hits moderately harder. So, I could...
As long as there's not another fairy sitting across from you, Dragon Claw will always hit harder.
Yeah, I could give or take either or. I'm not attached to really either of them. So
we have the cool Rain team set up here with Ludicolo, Pelipper, and Raichu, all being really good with Rain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why we are weakness policy Ludicolo.
I don't see any way to trigger it.
Is Ludicolo naturally bulky? Because I don't remember Ludicolo actually being very, very bulky.
Let me look it up. Ludicolo. Let's see. We have
a really cool shiny though.
70 defense and 100 special defense.
So it's okay. It's not the greatest, but it's okay. With our Life Orb already being taken on Dragapult, I know there is a realm of Ludicolos that runs Assault Vest.
I could see it.
That's a thing. I know that's a thing.
Just to give
policy is cute though.
My big downside is like we're already going super fast because we have to swim, and like we can set up Tailwind with Pelipper too. So like it is going to go way fast. The biggest thing is like how often are you triggering weakness policy here versus like dropping Protect for another attack. Let's just quickly.
Notably, if you drop Protect, you get like Focus Blast or there was another attack. What was it?
Let's see. We have Focus Blast. We have Ice Beam, which we already have.
We get Mud Shot, I think.
What is our water move? We have Hydro Pump. Okay.
Yep. We get. You could pull a Goodra and run a physical, like, electric type move to set up lightning so you don't go to sleep.
Oh, we could just go big and hyper beam people.
Yeah.
Like that's
Focus Blast was when I saw most of the time in a fourth slot for our Assault Vest ones.
Do we have a... we could also just run, like, Weather Ball. Yeah. Weather Ball, I mean, like, obviously we're trying to set up rain, but, like, if it gets switched to sun, it just comes in and just smashes up Venusaur.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Because we're immune to sleep powder, and Venusaur's only way to actually deal with us is Sludge Bomb.
I mean, and Weather Ball's going to hit harder than Ice Beam, too.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
Especially in the sun. So.
Oh, yeah.
I could see that. I could see dropping Policy and instead putting on
a vest.
Yep. Which, if we're dropping Policy, do we want that on Mimikyu by chance? Probably not.
No, if we drop Policy, it's because Policy's not very good. But granted, if you're Dynamaxing your Ludicolo, it most likely will take the first hit very well if it's like hit with like a max flying move, a flying move of some sort or something like that. So triggering your own Policy isn't as always necessary. But then, like, if they trigger it for you for the next turn, then you just sweep everything off the board. So it's a matter of preference.
We could also, instead of Specs, instead of Vest, we could run Specs. And I don't know how in love with that I am. I think I'd rather have
Expert Belt.
Ooh, that's not bad.
Because we get such a wide variety of moves anyway, so we always usually have something that's super effective somewhere on the spectrum.
Especially like on someone on the table, it's just like, well, they have a Conkeldurr. I can't really hit that super effective, but I also don't want to be locked into Ice Beam against it, so...
Exactly.
Yeah. I could get down with Expert Belt. That's something I've done on Inteleon. I know that's something you've done too. Yeah. So it's just like, just get them. Hit them hard.
Expert Belt is actually just like subtly like really good. You don't see it very often.
Especially on those mons that have such a wide pool. It's just like, alright, well, who knows what that thing's running, so smash them.
Exactly.
And if we're running Expert Belt instead, we can keep on Protect too.
Mm-hmm. The last Pokemon is the one he has the most like concern and question on. He needed a 6th Pokemon, and I recommended a Fairy type to him. He said he really liked Mimikyu, so I think that's what he went with. And this Mimikyu's like in the realm of you can run it as like a Trick Room counter. You can run it as just a physical attacker, like Sweeper with Swords Dance. So it's kind of just all over the place on what you could actually do with it. He's running it in the Sword Dance variant, where we're going to try to survive the Steel type move that hits us and set up with Swords Dance, and then just go to town from there.
And I've played a lot of Swords Dance Mimikyu over the last several years, and it's just like, man, you just do it once, and it feels so dirty. It really does, man. Especially having Phantom Force on this thing. It's just like, all right, well, gonna dodge your next attack because I'm jolly max speed, so I'm gonna be fast. So set up Sword Stance, live your first hit. Phantom Force, you're gonna miss the second hit. I'm gonna hit you super hard. And like we also have Woodhammer and Player Roughs for like decent coverage here. And
a cool lead you can do, I'm just like looking at it, you can do max Dragapult for max Airstream to make sure you just outspeed everything.
Oh, that's dirty. Especially like having Tailwind on Pelipper too. It's just like we're going fast.
This Mimikyu's actually like subtly like really good. You're looking at it and you see Lucario, Dragapult, like that's a set, and then it's the Rain trio, and then there's just poor Mimikyu just sitting here by himself. But he finishes off the Dragon Steel Fairy core quite nicely into this team.
I could also see we don't have any fire coverage at all. And I don't know how necessary that is. It seems like based on all these attacks, we have most of our bases covered. Like we have Ice Beam if we have like grass types across the table from us. I don't see any need to have fire coverage here unless I'm missing something.
We beat Steel type because we got Lucario. We beat grass types because Ice Beam and Hurricane. We beat ice types because Lucario. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I'm not thinking of anything. Bug gets beat up pretty hard by Ice Beam and Fly.
And
like having access to Fly on Dragapult's also just great. And like this thing also has U-turn, so it's just like gonna beat up some grass mons if need be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Can beat up some Venusaurs.
I was thinking we could instead have the water grass fire core, but I don't think we need fire coverage.
We don't. From what I'm seeing, we don't.
Yeah,
we got it pretty much covered.
I'd rather have the Steel Fairy Dragon core. So I think this seems pretty sweet. Again, I have not played with this team at all, but this seems like I don't know if we talked about it on the cast, and I know me and you have talked about it multiple times. I wish Pelipper was better. I wish we had a better rain setter.
I want either Politoed to come back or give me a new rain setter. A new rain setter would be sweet.
Can Slowking get Drizzle? Like Galarian Slowking? That'd be sweet.
Oh, that'd be cool. We've got how many Pokemon set up Ice? We've got Ninetales and Vanillux both set up Hail. Gigalith, Hippowdon, Tyranitar both all set up Sand. I think Torkoal's the only Sun. Oh no, we have other Ninetales too. So we have Torkoal and Ninetales for Sun, but we only have one rain setter
currently.
I want more weather shenanigans because I think having weather based stuff is so cool. Mm-hmm. Especially with like how the wild area works and just like introducing you to all that in the wild area to begin with, like for combat. It like there's a big emphasis on weather, and only having one rain setter kind of is just like
middling,
neuters that whole just like archetype.
I understand completely, and I agree. It's like I wish we had just a little more.
Yep. Ready to move on to our last team of the week?
Let's talk about Shuckle. So
near and dear to your heart.
I love Shuckle, man. I wish it was better. So we have a pretty sweet kind of idea here. So we have Shuckle with a mental herb. We have weakness policy Driftblim, leftovers Milotic, choice scarf Silvally, Iapa Berry, Togekiss, which is that Steel Berry?
No, Babiri Berry is a Steel Berry.
What is Iapa Berry? Is that just 50% berry?
That's just that's 30%. That's a quarter HP berry. 25% HP.
Okay. And then we have Assault Vest Mudsdale. So, a couple really interesting pieces going on here. First off, Silvally is not a mon that we see basically ever.
Right.
So, there's some really sweet moving parts here. We have a choice scarf on it, and so it is normal. Like, because we don't have a type on it, it is normal. But Silvally has a really deep move pool. Specifically if you're a physical attacker. His special attack core is a little weaker, but he can also play like a decent support role if need be. So it's interesting to see him as a choice scarfer here, just to make sure we have a little more speed to us. So we have Parting Shot, Explosion, Rock Slide, and Crunch. Crunch lets us deal with all the ghosts. Rock Slide's a bunch of spread damage, and when in doubt, explode. It's not something we see a lot of, if ever. But man, does that sound sweet! Especially because we have this Driftblim. Like we can have Driftblim next to it, and like we aren't losing two mons to hopefully deal with their two.
Yeah, which Quentin in Draft League was very fond of trying to do that, and that blew up in his face quite excellently, in my opinion.
Pun intended?
Pun intended.
So the other interesting piece here is we have this weakness policy Driftblim. So it has Unburden, and it looks like the way we are trying to trigger it is with Knockoff from Shuckle. Which Shuckle's attack is real bad if you don't know.
Yeah.
So it is going to do next to no damage. And the way Weakness Policy works is it's going to trigger before knockoff triggers. So you're going to get your boost, you're going to get your Unburden boost, and then knockoff says, all right, you don't have an item, you're not going to lose anything.
Yep.
The downside to this is you kind of lose a turn, whereas with most of your like Weakness Policy setups, you want priority. So then your Unburdened Mon is going to be able to take priority immediately by being faster than everything and just be able to sweep as needed. But because we're using Shuckle to set it up, we're basically losing our first turn by by taking a turn basically off to set up Weakness Policy.
Yeah. I know the most common one is just to Shadow Sneak into your Ghost type to trigger it. So I'm not sure where we could fit that in. Shadow Sneak's a fairly uncommon move. It's only learned by, I think, the Agaslash line, the Duskull line, and Mimikyu in this generation.
That sounds correct. I don't believe you.
I think that's all of them.
I don't believe we're missing anyone.
Better to check and make sure.
Gardevoir evidently gets it.
Interesting. Probably an egg move.
I'm not sure. I'm just on Showdown, so the Gardevoir and Gallade line get it. Sableye, Shedinja,
Pumpkaboo, Rowlet, and then the Duskull, Honedge,
and Marshadow. Can't forget Marshadow.
And Marshadow, the Pokemon that we can definitely use in competitive. And then the Ralts line gets it as an egg move.
Can you imagine, like, quick side note, can you imagine if they let, like, Mythicals into like, VGC? Like, Ubers...
Bud, we're probably going to have to suffer through legendaries here
Ubers
at the end of the year.
Bad.
Don't get us started on this. Don't put that bad juju on us.
Be like, hey, here's also a set of Mythicals that you can use, too. I want to use Marshadow as something, man. Leave me alone.
So, thinking about it now that I know that Gardevoir and Gallade both get it, we could do, like, Gardevoir shenanigans. Because Gardevoir's actual move coverage is insane.
Oh, it's real high.
Also works as a Trick Room counter. Because, let me tell you, as someone who plays with Unburdened Drifblim, Trick Room is terrible to play against.
I'm sure.
Especially when you're sitting there looking at it and just like, I'm the fastest thing on the field. I'm going to go last.
So, looking over Gardevoir here, like, as just like another abuser here, we actually, like you said, our move pool's pretty deep. Like, we have Energy Ball, Focus Blast, Heal Bell if we need that. We have Hyper Voice, Life Dew,
Ally Switch.
Oh, we get
Ally
Switch. We have Will-O-Wisp.
Yeah. Yeah, we could be like really good support and just like be a counter to Trick Room, be able to Will-O-Wisp people, swap in and take attacks so our sweeper stays alive, and then just be a Shadow Sneak procer.
Yeah, we have Will-O-Wisp and T-Wave. We get Taunt. Like, we can... I was thinking, I'm like, man, we could just have, like, this physical... We could have this, like, special sweeper having an Assault Vest to give us even more bulk. It's like, man, our like, support cast is just insane here. It's like, yeah, we also get, like, Moonblast, we get Psychic, we get Thunderbolt. Like, we have a bunch of utility attacks, too. So, if you want to go bulky and have, like, an Assault Vest or something on this, like, you're not... out a Mon, basically.
Yeah. Looking over this Drifblim some more, I do know for a fact that Drifblim's special attack is much better than its actual attack. And you get cool moves like Shadow Ball and whatnot. So I'm not sure how much we want to be physical Drifblim.
I guess the big appeal is we get acrobatics, which with weakness policy is real sweet.
It doesn't do as much as you think.
Really?
It actually doesn't.
That's kind of disappointing.
Because I was doing that on mine, and Shadow Ball with special attack investment does a whole lot more.
I mean, it's 80 attack versus 90 special attack, so it's actually not that different.
But when you start putting points into it and put your nature into it, the nature buff is immensely important. Because that 10% on your 80 attack isn't as high as what your points would be if you go special attack and then put your 10% on top of that.
So we get to, if we're max attack plus nature, like beneficial nature, that gets us to 232. Whereas if we're, just to make sure that's right, we get to 145, I'm sorry.
I was about to say 145, and then special attack should be 156.
Yeah, 156. So 11 points. 11 points can be big in all actuality.
And that's if you're maxing. That's if you're maxing.
Here we're only putting
which
in,
he's not.
We're putting in 92 just so we can have a little more speed, but I'm not sure how much the speed actually makes a difference if we're unburdened. This is more your expertise. Let's.
So to note speed tiers here, max speed with a neutral nature is 132, but your neutral nature min is 85. So you're already going to get unburdened. So that doubles you up to about 170. If my math counts out right. So to actually be faster than Dragapult at 213, you only need I think it's 75 or 76 speed or something like that.
But
you don't need a whole lot more into it.
The big problem there is if this is going to be our Dragapult counter, we need a way to trigger policy sooner. We can't afford to take a turn off to set up policy.
Right. That's where getting the Gardevoir in and doing the Shadow Sneak and whatnot is important.
But the interesting part is Milotic covers a very similar role to what I envision Gardevoir doing, but Gardevoir gets to trigger policy. Yeah. So I'm not sure if Milotic is the correct cut for Gardevoir or not. And I could see it. And that frees up your leftovers for Gardevoir as well.
Yeah. Let's see how much speed we have to outspeed Dragapult here real quick.
So we need to get to 214 to outspeed it. So that's going to be...
we only need 7 points. So
that's going to be... 7 times 2 is going to be 14, times 4 is going to be 48. No, 52.
Yeah, 52 gets us to 107. Yep. Which he's investing 106 or 164 in to speed.
It gets us to 121. That's just way faster than anything.
That's fast. You don't have to worry about it. But 214 outspeeds Jolly Dragapult. Just think about that for a minute.
That's real good.
And then you get to go modest, put some of your 252 in your HP, and then put some into your special defense to make sure you just survive other hits. And then just 44 into your special attack to get you at least to above 125.
Our defenses are real bad.
Yeah. So the trick with Drifblim, and the reason this works, Drifblim with Unburden does such a good thing as a support run, is because you just invest in the bulk.
You just don't need
You don't need the special attack buffs if you're +2, honestly. Because at +2, you can
if we're
deal a bunch.
If we are if we're a beneficial nature special attack that gets us to 121 with no investment, So after policy, that gets to 242 in special attack. I would need to run calcs, but like I want to be able to guarantee Oko Dragapult. And I don't know if 242 is that magic number or not.
Well, I can tell you right now, at +2 with just modest nature, you are dealing 139 to 165% damage to Dragapult.
Cool.
If you Dynamax, you are dealing maximum 82%. So that's the number you got to find out, is how much more do you have to invest to where you can Oko the Dragapult. Looks like 108 gets us to about 136, which puts us at about 93%. So if we go to 164, gets us to 98%. What if we go to 180? 180 puts us in, starts to get us into the range of I can Oko Dragapult.
Through Dynamax.
Through Dynamax. Okay. That is Dynamax Dragapult.
Okay. So we're 180, we're 52 points into speed, and then just split the rest into bulk?
For that purpose, I would look into putting more into defense over special defense, because we got to be sure we able to take that Shadow Sneak.
I agree. Granted, it's...
Funnily enough, if we just Dynamax, we don't even have to have that investment, and we just Oko it.
Oh, really? So we can just be beneficial nature in that Okos?
Yeah, beneficial nature and just Dynamax, but that means you lose your Dynamax, so use it wisely.
I mean, if we are dealing with their Dynamax, I could see it being beneficial.
Yeah.
Like, then we're going at least 1-for-1 with their Dynamax, and we're wasting theirs too.
Uh-huh. Trying to do math here on how much I have to invest into the defenses, but it's all just for show. You don't really have to worry about it too much. Like, you get to 89 special defense, max Phantasm from Dragapult's only going to do like 57% to you.
Okay. That's...
Like 57, like 120 into special defense, and then 60 into defense. Puts us at... way too much, right? That's 180. And then 232. So I have an extra 20 points to play with somewhere. If I wanted to put them into special attack, I could. Yeah, that's not bad.
I can get down. I can get down.
But yeah, that just goes to show it's like special Drifblim is actually like a head and shoulder above physical Drifblim. You still get some really cool attacks as special Drifblim. Drifblim itself is just like this cool Pokemon that I like you want to play with, because it's just like it's surprisingly bulky because it has such a high HP that whatever you invest into HP, like actually gets get put to good use, and then just a little bit of defense goes a long way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, having just a little bit of bulk is all you really need.
Let's see what Drifblim gets in the special category here. We get Shadow Ball, Hyper Beam, Icy Wind.
Not the worst.
Thunderbolt and Thunder, Psychic.
Do we get a special flying type?
We have Gust.
Do we have a good flying special type? Do we get Air Slash or anything?
I don't see it.
Lame.
I'm gonna go with no.
Yeah, Gust is the best we got. Great.
But we get 130 max Mind Storm.
Oh, we have Air Cutter.
Oh. We have Air Cutter?
Mm-hmm. Is Air Cutter even in this game?
No, that's why I was wondering what the heck you're talking about.
Okay, I haven't selected a format.
That's why.
Yeah, let's try this.
You see, there's a site called Cerebi that tells you all the
I'm on Showdown because I was putting in.
Well, that's your first
in
mistake.
EV so we could do calcs, but whatever.
But so we do we get Thunder or Thunderbolt for max lightning. We can do max Mindstorm and then max Phantasm, and then just like run like Will-O-Wisp or something else, just like the help our Strength Sap, so we just like get to heal back up. But it also runs as Protect when we're Dynamax.
We don't get Recover, do we?
No. Strength Sap is our Recover.
Interesting.
We get Hypnosis. So that's cute.
We also get Substitute. I'm not saying that's, worth a damn, but we get Substitute.
Our max Hailstorm's 110.
Off of Icy Wind?
Yeah.
Oh.
We may not even need the flying type attack. That's a lot. Yeah, we just run max Mindstorm, max like Hailstorm or max Lightning, depending on which one you want to be, and then run your max Phantasm, and then just smash people.
Well, don't forget, we also get Explosion.
Hyper Beam.
Yeah, but this one's an oh shit button.
We don't need it if you just have Hyper Beam.
Which is also an oh shit button.
Look at the rest of this. There's the Togekiss. It does Togekiss things. That's why I'm not too worried about having a flying type attack on us, because we have Togekiss over here.
We get Togekiss. Mudsdale does Mudsdale things. It's a really good counter to Trick Room, and it's just...
The only real big question is, why the heck are we running Explosion on Silvally?
It's our oh shit button.
I don't see the need for it. I also just looking at it, I'm just is Choice Scarf what we want to be doing?
So if we replace Explosion, we can put on Multi-Attack.
Yeah.
Is that going to be the best physical normal move?
Normal move we have. Unless you really want to run Giga Impact. Do we get Double Edge?
We do get Double Edge.
Okay, so Double Edge is probably better?
Yeah, we get Double Edge, we get Giga Impact, and Multi-Attack. Double Edge is 120, Multi-Attack is also 120. So...
Okay, so we just run Multi-Attack then.
Why have the...
Why have the recoil
if
damage?
we don't need to.
Yep. And then we could just go Band and smash people.
I think you probably still want to be Scarf, just so you are faster.
How fast are we at 220 speed?
220 speed puts us at 143.
Okay. So hear me out here.
Mm-hmm.
Our Drift Blim, we just, instead of running 3 attacks, we just run max Mindstorm to deal with fighting types and max Phantasm to deal with ghost types and Dragapult, and we just run Strike Sap and Tailwind. That way, when we're out of Dynamax, we actually get to do something besides just sit there and be a balloon.
Okay. It also makes Silvally that much better because we're just that much faster.
Exactly, because when you told me it was how fast it was, it's okay, so we aren't faster than Dragapult. So it's just Dragapult is just gonna wreck us.
Actually, with Choice Scarf, we might be.
Are we? That'd be cool.
Let me get on Choice Scarf and look. So what is our base is 95.
Yep.
Dragapult is 143 base.
Yes. Max speed for Dragapult with a beneficial nature is 213. So that's the number we got to clear.
So if we go neutral with 228 invested into speed, we outspeed Dragapult by 1 point.
You said 228?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are at 220.
Allow me to go to 228. That puts us at 144. With Choice Scarf, we will be at 216.
Good enough for me.
Good enough for government work. So then the big question is, how hard does Crunch hit?
Well, we're max attack with an Adamant. I would assume it can Oko a Dragapult. The question is, can it Oko Dynamax?
You have the calculator.
Because if we get Oko... if we can Oko without Dynamaxing this Silvally, this actually is really, really good. Get the calculator open again, because I'm a dummy and I closed it. Silvally.
Yeah, for 252 Adamant with Crunch.
252. No item. We're Adamant. Crunchy Crunch Crunch. Into Dragapult. Well, I hate to say it, but I don't think we're getting there. Normally 252, it's gonna do most. It's like at most we're gonna do like 73%.
Oof, that's rough. That's real rough.
And that's with like no HP investment or anything in the Dragapult. That is just all speed and whatever attacking it is.
Oof.
That sucks.
Yeah. That's real unfortunate.
Good news is if we Dynamax, we can actually like take out regular Dragapult.
But I'm assuming not Dynamax.
No. Oh, no.
I figured, but figured it'd be worth asking.
So, what if we're banded?
Yeah, what? And like we just had to live one attack.
Yeah. So if we're banded, we get into Oko range.
Okay, what if we're life? What if we're Life Orb instead of banned? Because we don't have a Life Orb on this team so far.
Life Orb gets us to 95%.
Man, that's real close.
It's really close.
Okay, what about instead of Life Orb, what if we're just Scarf with Helping Hand? Does Helping Hand get us there?
No, item. Helping Hand. Helping Hand puts us into the same range that Band would. Into the 92.7 to 109 against regular Dragapult. Or 46 to 54 against Dynamax.
Great.
But, no, we can't kill it if we Dynamax too. Dang. I'm off the Silvally plan.
Yeah, unfortunately, man. Silvally was actually the first Pokemon I EV trained in Sword and Shield. And, man, it is just so underwhelming, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm off of it. I have a shiny one in home.
I do
I'm
too.
Just like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing. It's pretty.
I have the level 100 shiny event one. I'm just like, man.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's where mine came from. But yeah, this team's cool. Just a couple things just like to tweak on, like make your Drifloon a little bit more special attacker than a physical attacker, because we already have a bunch of physical attackers anyway. Mm-hmm. So having actual like spread out your damage dealing sources means you're not just like boned by a reflect or a light screen.
Yep. Make it just, and that was actually something in Draft League this week. It's like, I don't have a special attacker at all, so it's just like, please don't have Intimidate on Incineroar. Just like, please don't bring Incineroar.
Notably, the one time I did bring Incineroar, I got smashed.
Oh,
so I'm just like, I don't need him.
Very smashed.
I'm just like, I don't need this. I can just bring Goodra, and just Goodra just bulks everything out. It'll be fine.
Man, that first game was really good because I got to do not only did I get to put both of your mons asleep, but I also got to like Dynamax. I got to Gigantamax Kingler. Oh, it was great.
Yep, and then you never really got to do it again.
And me and Kyle are sitting here, and like you go for the Leaf Blade off of Surfetch, and I'm just like, oh, that's gonna do a ton. Oh, that's gonna do a ton, and then it does like 45%. I'm like, oh, we can.
You're Gigantamax, bud. You're huge.
But even still, like I fully expected us to die.
No. So the cool thing is it's because you get more health, not more defense. Mm-hmm. You get more actual HP. Yeah. So my actual damage total doesn't change. You just have more HP than what it would have been.
But normal. even if I wasn't Dynamax, I think I lived. Again, I don't.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember how my Kingler's built, but.
So the way to do your Dynamax damage math, if I brought you down that low at Gigantamax, double it for regular.
Yep.
So I OHKO you normally, but because you're Gigantamax is why you live that.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple times it's just like, well, my Dynamax did actual nothing because you just OHKO'd me. So that's what I was anticipating. And then instead I got to get off another foam burst, and that meant T-Tar was faster, and just like, oh, this is great.
Yep, and then Fast Surfetch got to do everything in Game 2 and 3.
Well, okay. It was more Goodra in Game 3.
Yeah, Goodra just set up, once we figured out it's like Dynamax is the key, it's just like we just set up on turn 1 and just go for it.
Yep.
But, you ready to move on to other fun teams?
Yeah, let's talk about you hitting Masterball this year. Or this season.
I finally did it!
Whoa!
It's not a very big accomplishment, but the fact that I finally did it, it's pretty nice. It's a pretty good feeling. I finally got my G-Max Colossal. The team I wanted to play at the IC was G-Max Colossal, and I didn't get a G-Max Colossal in time. So I did Lapras things, which Lapras was fun. Lapras was a 19-12 finish. I only got 31 out of the 45 games played because I was pretty much under the weather on Saturday. Mm-hmm. So I missed pretty much that entire day's worth of games. But now that I actually have the team that I want to play, I made Masterball. And this is pretty much the opposite of what I was talking about last week. How I enjoyed the long, slow, grindy games. Because this team is pretty much all gas.
Hyper aggro. Sign me up.
I played with a slower Colossal team before I started building it, and I wasn't a fan of it. It was Wolfie's team, actually. He played in the IC, and I was not a fan of it. It was nice, like, it did things really well, but then just, like, you just look at Excadrill and just, like, blink, and your entire team's destroyed. So, to counteract that, I brought in Durant, who looks at Excadrill and isn't completely blown out of the water by it, and Venusaur, which gets to do fast sleep powder things. My Colossal is physical attacker. The spread's a little wonky. We got 236 special defense to make sure that we only take about 20% from our Surf. We're at 220 speed, so we can make sure we outspeed everything. And I mean everything. I even outspeed Choice Scarf Dragapult.
Oh. I'm not surprised by that, but...
I also picked Physical because we get high horsepower as a ground type move that actually just like answers Excadrill, answers other Colossals. Because I sat there, I can't tell you how many times I sat there and looked at other Colossals with the Solar Beam in my hand. I'm just like, I can't do anything with this. So I'm like, I'm gonna go Physical and I'm gonna max Quake everybody, which also raises my special defense even more. Durant is the Durant we brought from Collinsville. Adamant Nature, Max Attack, Max Speed, Crunch, Stomping Tantrum, Rock Slide, Iron Head. It's part of my anti-Trick Room core. So if I see Trick Room and I can't do the Colossal thing very well, then I usually bring Togekiss Durant. And if they are dumb and don't bring Follow Me, they end up losing their Trick Room setter, and that's that for that game. Gastrodon does a real good job of being like second threat with Dragapult using Surf to boost Gastrodon. Gastrodon then just uses Earth Power. This one has Scald. I swapped it over to Muddy Water since then because Muddy Water is spread damage, and I'd much rather have the spread damage and the accuracy drops than potential burn. We also have full support Togekiss, Protect, Follow Me, Yawn, Dazzling Gleam, all that nonsense. Togekiss is Togekiss. It does its job very well. Venusaur on the tail end here, Sleep Powder, Leaf Storm, Sludge Bomb, Protect. Everyone I've seen on Venusaurs on ladder is running Earth Power, and I have no idea why.
Coverage.
I would much rather be able to hit this Protect button and just stall out a Trick Room or stall out like a Dynamax turn, and then just go ahead and put you to sleep anyway. So fun leads are, of course, Durant Togekiss or Colossal Dragapult. Dragapult is full physical with Surf, so you can also do Dragapult Togekiss leads to where you can just Dynamax Dragapult and then just smash people. You could also Dynamax the Venusaur and do like a Venusaur Togekiss lead if you have to use that because like Colossal Dragapult's not good or Durant Togekiss isn't good. But outside of that, those are most of your leads there. Gastrodon always usually sits in the back whether you bring Colossal or whether you bring like Togekiss because it's just a good swap in. It tanks damage really well. But yeah, made it to Masterball Sunday on stream. Didn't take me very long. About an hour's worth of grinding to get from rank 9 to Masterball.
Which is rank 12?
Technically rank 11.
Okay. So not the worst.
Yeah, you go 1 through 10, and then 10 is Ultra Ball, max, and then the level after Ultra Ball is max. And I finished the stream at about 50, I think it was 5100 exactly.
Okay.
So, not too terribly bad. Plan on just grinding with this team on Master Ball some more and try to get as close to rank 1 as possible, probably.
I will be anticipating you hitting rank 1. I'll be highly...
I haven't lost a match in Master Ball yet.
I'll be highly disappointed if you don't hit rank 1.
I'm going to try. But yeah, I haven't lost a match in Master Ball. I played like 2 or 3 on stream. Didn't drop a single one.
That's awesome, man. That's real awesome.
So this team is actually really solid. I like it. It's very similar to one I saw from the Champions Cup, but they didn't give us the rental code. So I kind of just like, once I figured out, I was like, oh, this is the Colossal team I want to be playing. I kind of inferred and kind of pulled out everything I had and figured it out, like what my numbers would be. Mm-hmm. A lot of calculations.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The real scary Pokemon are always like Sand. You can like beat Sand leads if you just play around it right. Make sure you focus down the Excadrill every time. Because it will try to Earthquake or Max Ground into you every time. Usually the cool leads, I know with Wolfie's support Dragapult, the leads were like Reflect into Protect, so you didn't completely get blown out by Excadrill, but I'd much rather just like hit Max Guard on my Colossal and then just like Dragon Darts into Excadrill and deal as much damage as possible.
Yep. Break the sash, get rid of everything.
Yep. And then like Tyranitar helps you out a bunch because you get more special defense, so the Surf doesn't do as much. Sun also is your best friend because you have Venusaur, you have Chlorophyll, but also it's just like Sun helps out Colossal because Surf doesn't do as much. Plus, you just get max flare bonus damage. I haven't really run into many Rain teams, but who has?
True.
And then I did run into a Rain team. And that game, I just swapped into the Durant plan, and Durant just
did its thing.
Yep, yeah. It just walked up and swept them off, and that was that for Durant. I set up, made sure the Rain. I took out the Rain, and then I killed the Pelipper, and it was just over after that. The rest of their team was just like Rain benefits, like Baratic, Ludicolo, and Barraskewda. So it was super easy just to walk up and just take away their Rain, and then they just lose. Team's real solid.
I agree. I think it is real solid.
Rental codes on Twitter if anybody wants to play it. At musical_33. You'll find me there. You could also just come follow me on Twitch. We're real close to affiliate. We're real close.
Dude, I want you to get there. I really do.
You and everybody else that watches me. Unfortunately, it's just like there's no one else to like hit follow button. I think everyone from the Discord that watches me on Twitch has already followed, so we're kind of stuck.
Well, you say that. You'll get there. I believe in you.
Yep. We'll get there. Streaming more often now will help out a ton.
Oh, for sure. That's going to be a big help.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I got a whole lot of nothing this week, man. I think it's time to get out of here.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So, as always, you can find us on Twitter, the podcast at LR Lessons, myself at Carter Noble 25, and Carl at musical_33. You can also find myself and Carl on Twitch. As Carl said, he is at musical. Myself at Mr. Missouri 25. I can't even remember what I'm doing, man. And then you can also follow you can join our Discord server. That link is going to be down in the show notes as always. We have a YouTube channel. If you're listening on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button if you like what you hear. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so you can get notifications for when new videos go live. And questions, comments, concerns can always be sent to our email if you have no other way of reaching out to us. So, past that, I think that is going to be it for this week. Anything you want to touch on before we go?
Remember, last day to sign up for Draft League is today, this afternoon. Do not forget, you have to be joined in the Discord, and if you let me know, I can get you in still.
Hey, Carl, can you get me added to Draft League?
I already got you, I think.
Cool. Awesome.
It's that easy.
All right. And I think that'll do it till next week.
Yep.
Have a good one. Peace.